Haven't you ever wanted to just kill your parents for their money?
I mean, they're not super wealthy, I guess. Like, wait, how? No, I should be appalled at the notion. They're not wealthy enough. What? On next week's true crime podcast, Andrew becomes a criminal.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew. Over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram, or as I like to call it, Twitstagram, at namely90s with a 90s. You can also find this show on YouTube, where we record ourselves recording it for 7 or 8 people max. Yeah, that's available.
12. There, we have 12 subscribers, sir.
Okay, that's at namely90s.com/YouTube. Today is the March 1996 episode, and there are things that happened then.
If Kayla and I are subscribers,
have I subscribed yet?
There's at least 10 people. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Wow.
Well, before we get into that, how's your diet going? You looking good?
I cheated a little bit this weekend. I still avoided gluten, but I had some potatoes. But no, I'm feeling good. I definitely have more energy. Maybe that's come through in the podcast. I'm actually speaking instead of looking like I'm about to pass out. So there's that.
See, I just figured you were bored with whatever I was saying. Because, I do edit these, so I'm able to watch your video the whole time. I'm
so sorry. I'm like kind of self-conscious about the video. In fact, I kind of wonder if I would do a better job if we weren't on video, but it's fine. It's fine. Probably not.
Wasn't it your idea to do the video in the first place?
Well, my thought was if we get traffic through YouTube, it would be helpful, but it's not really a traffic area. Like, you get traffic when people go there because you told them to.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. No, it's going well.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
How's your diet going? Any more 3 crispy chicken or fish sandwich days?
I've not been to the fast food restaurants in a week. I did have. No, you're right. Over the weekend, I think it was last Friday. I had a moment of weakness and ordered a large amount of items from Taco Bell at 11 o'clock at night.
Hey, well, I went to Chipotle today. I got a salad and E. coli, which is how I've lost so much weight.
E. coli, looking good.
Speaking of the 90s and E. coli, remember Jack in the Box?
Yes.
The whole we don't make it till you order it, because someone almost died. Actually, people did die, I think.
Yeah, we've brought this up before. Nissa in my third grade class.
Childhood friend, yeah. My brother was friends with her brother.
Oh, really?
And she had like hemolytic uremic syndrome from E. coli. 0157 something 7. I don't know. It's like a whole thing.
She always had
we don't make it till you order it.
On the side of her hand.
That's mean.
Why? I was just going to say, that was that's what I remember. She was blonde. She had a thing on the side of her hand, and she got E. coli.
She had E. coli. Really, all the things you need to know about a person.
It's good. It's good character development. It's good flavor. It's flavor win for the eventual autobiography of our lives.
Yeah, could you imagine? Oh gosh,
who would want to read that?
Sounds really unpleasant.
Although I guess that's the point of Namely 90s, is us just going through our childhood.
Yeah, apparently 12 people might read that.
No, those are the people that are too incapable of just listening to something without audio visual stimulus. Hi. And now I'm waving for all of you listening on a podcast format. It is weird that, podcasts have a visual component. Like they're basically radio shows. Why do you need a video component? Is it Howard Stern's fault? I think it might be Howard Stern's fault.
That's like every sports show on TV is just them talking about sports, but for some reason with microphones in front of them.
Well, I mean, I get it from like if you're live streaming, that makes more sense because you're interacting with your audience. But why tweet us, tell us why you, or leave it in the comments since you're actually watching this on YouTube. What is it about seeing someone doing the podcast that is more valuable than being able to listen to it on the go?
Yeah, I think, the thing about podcasting is just the listening on the go aspect where you don't have to try to watch a video while you're driving.
Right. And to me, like podcast is just like the next evolution of talk radio. Except you're able to pick what you actually listen to and enjoy it more.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I do love when you do find that podcast and you're like, oh, wow, there's like years of episodes I can listen to, because you just like something about having unlimited content is kind of refreshing. You're like, to me, I don't know. It's just a thought I was having.
Yeah, no, I was letting you finish your thought. And
it's a good feeling when you've got like 500 episodes to go through. You're like, oh, yes.
I was just going to say, I mean, that works better for you discovering my favorite murderer. But, and like series for me, like lore, you can go back and listen to the first thing. But more topical podcasts like Harmontown that I used to listen to before they quit. Like you go back and it's like, oh, we're in the Obama years, everything's great, and then it slowly starts to take a turn, and then he gets super depressed because of the next president, and then goes and buys a gun and sits in his bathtub every night.
Yeah,
contemplating.
That's like
suicide.
When I was listening to Bad Religion, I was going back through their back catalog of like more recent albums, and it was like they released like one when Obama was president, but they released I think two when Bush was president, and it's like they seem to like they have a lot more to write about when it's a political party they don't agree with. In the White House.
5 when Trump was president. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I guess Daft Punk split up too. People are sad about that.
Yeah, that's like 3 weeks ago now. Talk about that topical.
Topical.
No, but my dream is to have the type of podcast where there's an abundance of things to talk about, which we have. It's limited to 10 years and there's some recurring themes, but there's a lot to talk about during that time.
I know. It's like once we hit, I was just thinking about this when I was writing this episode up, or the outline for it. And I was like, I'm going to actually have to do research once we hit 120 episodes, because I guess 121, since our Halloween special is in the episode order. But yeah, it's just like, what am I going to do? Because this is easy. I like grab stuff and maybe we know about it, maybe we don't, but it still fills up the time.
I mean, I do think it would be fun. We've talked about this, to do specific topics. Like we might talk about a show we both really liked and do like a very deep look into that, or a movie, or we could do a crime case from the 90s that was, something that was a very 90s thing, and go through it, and kind of have like we could do a bunch of different stuff. That's the nice thing about this podcast is it's restricted to a time period, but no topic is off limits, including apparently things that didn't happen during the 90s.
Well, that's that. Didn't we have like an entire episode where we just focused on something from the 2000s because something adjacent to it happened in the 90s?
Because it was probably a 1990 year, which was like nothing.
Oh yeah.
I think we spent an entire episode talking about Mulan, the new.
Oh yeah, the new Mulan. Yeah. Well, should we travel back to March of 1996?
Sure.
All right, Andrew, you take us back to March 1996. No, sorry, that's my. I got switched. I'm sorry, everyone.
On the 1st of March. No, I don't know. I can't do this.
On the 1st, the 888 toll-free area code is introduced.
Hell yeah. Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah. Call us at 888-555.
That's not a good sign that that's the first thing that we're talking about.
I know. It's so weird because
US West merges with Dex. Okay.
That was 1999. On the 7th, the first photos of Pluto's surface come to us from the Hubble Space Telescope. That must have been exciting back then. Now we're getting live feed from Mars.
And it still looks better than the surveillance footage from my local gas station.
Yeah.
I just love that.
On the 7th, Magic Johnson hits 10,000 career assists. Also on the 7th, the last episode of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club airs its last episode. On the 9th, Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo is released in Japan and is eventually released in May in the US.
Supermarket. Sorry, Super Mario rocket propelled grenade. What?
Yes. Super Mario RPG was a RPG featuring Nintendo characters that Square Enix, or it might have just been Square back then, developed. The Final Fantasy people. On the 20th, the Menendez brothers are found guilty of killing their parents. On the 22nd, Resident Evil is released for the PlayStation in Japan, and on the 30th in the US, the first Resident Evil. On the 25th, wait a second.
The Menendez brothers, is that the same people who makes Oreos and Triscuits? Oh, that's Mondelez. Okay, sorry.
What? I thought that's Nabisco.
Mondelez makes. They now make. No, they don't make Oreos, but they make other stuff. Yeah, they do make Oreos now. What?
Is Nabisco not a thing anymore?
I think it is, but Oreo is, and Philadelphia cream cheese is now owned by Mondelez.
Interesting.
Weird.
That's not, I thought that was Kraft.
I don't know. I'm very confused now.
The 100...
Nabisco is owned by Mondelez International. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
Gotcha. On the 25th, the $100 bill is redesigned and issued. I guess they redesigned it before that and issued the redesign.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Coming back to Angelina Jolie again, on the 28th, she marries Johnny Lee Miller.
Is he somebody?
He was in Trainspotting, and he is currently, or was most recently, Sherlock in the CBS series Sherlock. That's the one where Lucy Liu plays Watson, a sexually attractive Watson. On the 29th, the Cleveland Browns become the Baltimore Ravens, and the Browns are shelved for 3 years.
Wasn't that Elementary?
Yes, Elementary. It's a Sherlock show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It had a different name.
One of my friends is watching it, and she just calls it Sherlock. I'm like, that's the one with Bender Snitch kind of...
Yeah,
on the BBC.
The one where they release 3 episodes every 2 years.
Yeah. It's supposed to be over at this point, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind a 5th series.
I mean, this might be controversial, but I actually enjoyed Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes. I'm just going to throw that out there.
It's quite, it's basically just Iron Man, Sherlock Holmes, but yes, it's...
Well, of course. Well, that's Elementary, were they solving crimes?
Yes. I think
because what?
There's also a gender bent Moriarty in that show as well.
Okay, so they are solving crimes, I think. But
why wouldn't they be solving crime? It's just a soap opera between Sherlock and Watson.
Well, House was based on Sherlock Holmes, but it wasn't about crime.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe Sherlock wasn't a detective in Elementary. He was an elementary school teacher. Anyway. TV premiering. On the 2nd, Canadian television series Space Cases premieres on Nickelodeon. I forgot this existed. And it was scary to look at. On the 8th, Muppets Tonight on ABC, the only Muppet show not on Disney Plus. What up, Disney? On the 13th, The Faculty on ABC. The 16th, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo on Nickelodeon. The name sounds familiar. I don't know if I've ever seen an episode. On the 21st...
Never heard of it.
Boston Common airs on NBC. On the 29th, True Hollywood Story premieres on... Oh, I forgot to write down the network for that. On the 29th, Nash Bridges airs on CBS. And I was kidding. True Hollywood Story clearly aired on the Bravo channel. Box office. On the 8th, we have The Birdcage. So on the 8th, we have Fargo. Also on the 8th, we have Hellraiser Bloodline, which is the 4th Hellraiser movie and the only reason I included it in this list. On the 8th as well, wow, I really should have organized that better. Homeward Bound II, Lost in San Francisco. On the 15th, the movie Ed. On the 29th, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. And also on the 29th, Sergeant Bilko. I included all those animal ones for you, Andrew.
Can I just say I accidentally... Well, I'm wishing I hadn't looked up Space Cases because it is super frigging scary. I don't like what I'm seeing.
Mark Hamill is in it. Like the original Black Ranger from Power Rangers is in it. It's Walter Jones, I believe his name is. It's the stuff of nightmares. It's closely related to the Rugrats reboot. Yes, in that way. I think it scarred me as a child, and I repressed it because it awakened something in me last night on the Billboard charts for the first 3 weeks. Finishing off a long run, One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boys to Men. Number 1 for the last 2 weeks and into April, Because You Loved Me by Celine Dion. Continuing on for the 4th week, we have number 7, Ironic by Alanis Morissette. Number 9, Follow You Down / Till I Hear From You by the Gin Blossoms. Number 10, One of Us by Joan Osborne. Number 11. Oh, yeah, we love that one. Did we read that one on the podcast? Yeah. No, I don't think. If God was one of us. I don't think we read it. I think I was going to, but it was too... Are you sure? Oh, you did. I guarantee you I loved it. Okay. Number 11, Real Love by the Beatles. Number 13, 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins. Number 15, Wonderwall by Oasis. Number 21, Time by Hootie and the Bluefish. Number 22, Name by Goo Goo Dolls. I hate that they've removed the from the Goo Goo Dolls. Number 23, I Want to Come Over by Melissa Etheridge. And number 24, Gangster's Paradise by Coolio featuring LV. Wow, that's quite the comprehensive list. Oh, yes. And, I mean, we went hard on that, but new today, we're going to toss it over across the pond to our mates Gaz and Dangerous Dave of the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow to fill us in on what was happening in the headlines over there in the UK, which is where they are from in March of 1996.
Hi there, pod fans. We've been asked kindly by our friends Brandon and Andrew, or Brandrew as I like to call them, of Namely 90s podcast to give them an insight into the UK headlines of days gone past. We thought, why the hell not? So I got Dange to dig out a sweet bit of kit from the garage to help us take a retrospective gander at what we were all talking about in the day. Here it is, the Retro Monthinator 3000 in all of its glory. Dange, fire up the pooter.
Handguns banned in the UK. England beat Ireland to win 5 nations. Tyson KOs Bruno. Mad cow can kill you.
Wow. Well, that was totally underwhelming. Way to whet the US appetite, dude.
I must say I agree with you, but it certainly was a shocking and vulgar acted display of utter rudeness. And now, back to the chaps at Namely 90s.
And now back to the show. Check out their brand new episode, which drops this Wednesday, to learn more about those headlines and all the other fun that they have over on the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow. And you can find that wherever you get your podcasts from.
Yeah, cool guys.
Gaz and Dange.
Thank them for their participation.
They call us the 4 horsemen of the retro apocalypse.
Or a podcalypse, if you will.
I did that in your honor. I definitely have said that on Twitter at namely 90s with the 90s. Where do you want to go?
Well, I actually was going to speak on this, but then I saw it was your first topic. Homeward Bound II, Lost in San Francisco.
Yes. I was concerned when you said I have no idea about anything on this list earlier.
Well, okay. Okay, here's the thing. I don't remember this specific movie. I remember the first one.
I remember the first one. I don't remember the second one.
But I was just thinking, how funny would it have been? Because this was before the microchip was invented. What if they just they found them and then scanned their microchips and they just found their way home in the first 5 minutes?
That would be a subdermal microchip for cats and dogs to help you find.
I just like people to know that those microchips are just an RFID. So if you bring a scanner up to them, it just gives you a unique number, which you then go look up on the internet. It doesn't actually track them via GPS.
You have to splice the microchip out of them and scan it like a barcode.
Yeah. Well, you know how big a microchip would have to be to actually have self-sustaining power supply and GPS on it?
Yes.
These things are the size of a grain of rice. Yeah. So I don't think they can put that in with your COVID vaccine, you weirdos. Just saying. You might feel that.
So for those of you that don't remember, Homeward Bound II, Lost in San Francisco is a 1996 American adventure comedy film and the sequel to the 1993 film Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Why? Every time I steal the blurb off of Wikipedia, I forget to put the actual plot in. The film features 3 pets from the first film. Shadow, the golden retriever, voiced by Ralph Waite, replacing the previous actor who died in 1983. Sassy, the Himalayan cat, played by Sally Field. And Chance, the American bulldog, voiced by Michael J. Fox, which blew my mind when I finally realized that as a kid, because I loved Back to the Future. Yeah. And this one also features
and it's got the mark of quality because it's got Sinbad in it.
Yes, Sinbad, Carla Gugino, Tisha Campbell-Martin, Steve. I don't know who these people are. Adam Goldberg. Was he popular back then? Tommy Lasorda. Al Michaels.
This is a good list. Because I'm reading through it. I'm like, are these supposed to be notable people? Because I've never heard of half of them.
Right?
Oh, yeah. John Polito. Okay. Whoever that is.
Yeah. Tommy Lasorda, I believe, is a baseball player or something.
Wasn't he the manager of the LA? Oh, God. Dodgers?
Yes. That sounds correct.
Oh, thank goodness. But if he's not, feel free to correct me on Twitter. Wasn't he didn't he run the Yankees somehow? No, just kidding.
Isn't he responsible for the Mariners not winning the 1999 World Series?
No, that would be their racist vice president guy or whoever that was.
So you remember Homeward Bound, at the very least.
Yeah, of course.
I can tell you the one scene I remember from Homeward Bound 2 is that they're walking along a highway. I want to say across the Golden Gate Bridge, because you could see it in the background, and Chance is whining that he left his heart in San Francisco because I think he meets a dog or something. Don't you think these people would have learned by now to not let their animals alone by themselves when they go on vacation?
Yeah, exactly. Gosh.
I feel like the plot for this one was they were traveling with them this time, and their crates got out, or the dog, Chance wanted to see them before they got put on the plane, and they got away. I don't remember.
No way.
I remember it's usually Chance's fault, because he was the young one and wanted to do things. But yeah, I honestly don't remember the plot of either movie, other than the fact that
they get lost and then they make their way home.
Yes, twice.
They're bound toward home
twice. But in the second one, Chance almost gives it up for love because he left his heart in San Francisco.
And then there's a scare. Someone gets hurt. Someone does something. Yeah, then they're fine.
The cat probably gets abducted, and then the dog or one of the dogs gets abducted, and the other two have to save them. probably 2 or 3 times it happens in the movie.
Yeah. Like, everything's going really well. I think they're finally going to make it. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Another 20.
Are they going to make it now? Yeah, another 20 minutes.
It's like our parents are just like checking the time to see how much time's left on this movie. I really loved the Homeward Bound movies as a kid. I watched those videos a lot on our VHS player. Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts about Homeward Bound?
It had mixed reviews from critics. So I don't know how they held it.
Shocking.
I don't know. I mean, I do remember liking the movie as a kid, but I don't think we had it, so I only ever saw it once.
Would you show it to your kids now?
I think they've seen it.
Oh, really?
I find it less creepy that their mouths don't move when they talk. It's just implied that that's who's talking. And now all the talking animal shows are animated.
Yeah.
Have you seen that animated Garfield show? That thing is weird, man. I'll tell you what.
What?
It's a few years old, but they did it's like that same animation style as the Rugrats and SpongeBob. You should look it up. It's kind of scary and it's really strange.
The last Garfield thing I remember is the Bill Murray movies.
Oh no, it's really bad. But
I want lasagna. I'm sorry, that was bad.
Garfield just does not translate to the screen well. It doesn't.
The animated series when we were kids, I thought did a pretty good job of it. Because 1, he didn't move his mouth, and 2, it was drawn in the style of the comics.
Yeah, that I can get behind, but don't make their mouths move.
Yeah,
please
let them be empaths. Or telepaths. Yeah. Telepaths. That's the one. Speaking of creepy things with mouths moving, Muppets Tonight? No. I don't have much to say about Muppets Tonight. I remember watching it as a kid. Recently, the Muppet Show has been released on Disney Plus, the original Muppet Show from the 70s, and it comes with a warning beforehand saying some content may be inappropriate for younger viewers. And it's the Muppet Show, but it's the 70s Muppets.
Yeah, so they're racist.
They're racist. They had just flappy dongs everywhere.
Big Bird appears in full blackface.
Which is
Big Bird is Sesame Street.
They're a part.
I tell you, I cannot keep Sesame Street and the Muppets separate from each other. I just can't do it.
So they are related. They are all Muppets, but the group.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So the group on Sesame Street split off around the time of the Muppet Show, I believe.
I feel better now because I thought they were all Muppets.
Yeah, Snuffleupagus, I believe, was the first original Sesame Street character. Or no, I don't know. I've watched some YouTube videos on the history of the Muppets on Defunctland TV. Actually, Defunctland is a great YouTube channel. You should check it out if you like Disney or the Muppets or old stuff like us. But yeah, the Muppets Tonight was the edgier SNL version of the Muppet Show that they rebooted in the 90s. But can you make the Muppets edgy? They've had 2 series recently that both failed. One was an Office riff, and the other one was they're doing a web show on Disney Plus.
I just think people are over puppets because there's better ways to do that now.
The quality of the puppetry isn't what it was. Yoda.
Sure.
Yoda feels like a believable puppet back then. Now he just looks like he's a plastic character in
right.
And he was done by a Muppeteer.
A Muppeteer.
We talked about that in a previous episode. And moving on from Muppeteer to Mouseketeer. Do you see what I did there?
I do.
I thought we should talk about the all-new Mickey Mouse Club. And I have a game for you, but I will give you a background on this first.
All right.
Do you know what the Mickey Mouse Club is? You have children.
It's a show.
Yes.
I don't know much more about it.
Okay.
A lot of notable musicians and such were on it back in the day.
Possibly. So the Mickey Mouse Club started back in the 50s during black and white television, and reruns of the original Mickey Mouse
Club. He's not just talking about the color of the broadcast. What?
And reruns of the original Mickey Mouse Club began airing on the Disney Channel with the channel's 1983 launch. By the way, I didn't have the Disney Channel package on my cable television until like the 2000s.
We only ever got the preview.
Yeah, right. It was like
you get the week-long preview or whatever.
Yes, it was weirdly locked in with like HBO for some reason. Like, because I had Cartoon Network, I had Nickelodeon. Disney Channel was not in the same tier as those channels back then.
Yeah, it was like premium.
Yeah, which is weird because it was Disney. While the show was popular with younger audiences, the Disney Channel executives felt it had become dated over the years. Shocking.
Yeah.
Particularly as it aired in black and white. Their answer to create a brand new version of the club, one aimed towards contemporary audiences, that was their answer. Notably, the all-new Mickey Mouse Club members would wear Mouseketeer varsity jackets without the iconic Mickey Mouse ears that the original Mouseketeers would wear. And the show was then called the All-New Mickey Mouse Club, also known as MMC to fans, because
MMC.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just wanted, before we get any further into it, I wanted to play a quick game with you to see which actors/singers were Mouseketeers. I'm going to give you the name of 10 actors that either were or were not a part of this child Mickey Mouse Club. Remember, they were like teens in this, or preteens. Just adjusting my watch. I'm adjusting my watch. There's nothing underneath the table. I just adjusting my watch. And hands above at all times. You need 7 out of 10 to win this. Fair deal. And
I'm just saying who was in it. I guess.
No, I'm going to give you a list. So I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm going to say, for example, Bart Simpson. Was he a actor or whatever?
So it's one at a time.
Yes.
Okay. I was worried you were going to read the whole list and I just had to remember something.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. So let's start with a softball. Britney Spears.
She was in the Mickey Mouse Club.
That is correct.
Ding. That's what yes means going forward.
Okay. Yes. Another softball. Mandy Moore.
Well, if you said it's a softball, I assume yes.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is incorrect.
That's a hard ball.
I know.
Jerk.
I was throwing you off. Sorry. I'll softball it again. Christina Aguilera.
Yes.
Are you sure you want to go with?
Yeah, I do actually want to go with that one.
Okay. You are correct. Ding. So you have 2 out of 3 correct so far.
Okay.
Moving forward, Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
That is correct. Nick Carter, Backstreet Boys.
No.
That is also correct. Ding. Well done. Joey Fatone, or Fat One.
He has a restaurant called Fat Ones, by the way. It's a hot dog shop. Yes.
Oh, that is incorrect.
Damn.
So you can only get one more wrong. How about JC Chazé of NSYNC? Was he a Mouseketeer?
No.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Sorry, you got that one wrong.
Well, you said I had to get 7 right, so I can get 3 wrong. I can't.
Yes,
get 4
you can get 3 wrong. You are correct, and I might even give you some wiggle room at the end if you're still close.
Okay.
All right. Ryan Reynolds. Canadian actor, best known for playing Deadpool in recent movies. Van Wilder was one of his bigger hits in the 2000s. He was on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
He seems too famous, but no.
Correct. He was not a Mouseketeer.
Oh boy, sweating.
All right. Let's move on from that Ryan to another Ryan. Ryan Gosling. Was he a Mouseketeer?
Yes.
You're correct. Ding. All right. It all comes down to this.
Oh boy.
You have what? 6 correct and 7 correct? No, 6
Man,
correct.
you can't make this up. This is like down to the wire.
Well done. Well done.
Now watch me fail.
Watch me nay. All right. The last one, drumroll please, is actress Carrie Russell.
Shit, I don't even know who she is.
Do you need to Google her?
No, because then it will probably tell me.
It won't. As long as you don't type in Mouseketeer. I believe she was in Felicity. She was most recently in Star Wars, the last one. She's about 44.
Carrie Russell.
She was in The Americans on FX, which I hear is a good show, but I've never watched. Is she Felicity?
I'm going to go with...
was she Felicity? Wait, that's not the question.
Yes, she was Felicity.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh, the pressure. I'm going to go yes.
You got that right.
Ding.
Well done.
Yes. I never get any of these things right.
Yeah, you've won the majority of the times. But congratulations, Andrew, for winning that game. So just to reiterate, the 6 Mouseketeers that went on to be moderately famous afterwards were Ryan Gosling, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, JC Chazé, and Carrie Russell.
Was Jessica Biel one of them? I feel like she was somehow. Like, why do I keep associating her with this?
I do not believe Jessica Biel was a Mouseketeer. But she was on...
Oh, it's because she's married to Justin Timberlake?
Seventh Heaven.
Oh, no, it's because she's married to him. That's why. Justin Timberlake.
I didn't realize they were married.
That makes sense now. Yeah, it's a thing. 2012, 2 kids.
Wow.
Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
Pastor dad ended up being a creep.
Pedophile.
Creepophile.
I'm pretty sure it was allegedly a pedo.
That's another thing we can cover on the true crime.
Namely 90s.
Celebrities that became
edition.
Criminals. Yeah, it's like one of those 2020 specials. Let's not call it that.
Let us know what you want us to call our pedophile special, namely 90s, by reaching out to us on Twitter and Instagram at namely 90s with 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshooty and namely Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you could find new episodes out every Monday, and check out Gaz and Dange's new episode from this Wednesday, where they'll continue on their thing that they teased during the middle of this episode on the Insanely Dangerous Retro Podshow. You can also contact us through our website at just namely90s.com. And please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Radio Disney, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts at. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time.
MMC. Okay.
MMC.
So stupid. So bad.